Welcome to a wet NIB Stadium in Perth for the All-Aussie affair. The Western Force at home taking on the New South Wales Waratahs. The last waltz for both teams in 2017. A dark cloud still hovering over the Force. If they are to be cut from Super Rugby next season, they want to go out with their heads held high and with a big Aussie scalp in tow. Showers over the past few hours are expected to hang around for the duration of the match. The Waratahs playing for pride after a disappointing season. And it's Greg Clark with you, sideline George Gregan and Nick McArdle, and alongside me another Wallaby, Tim Horan.
Clarkie, going to be very tough up front tonight, these type of conditions. For the Waratahs, their front row will have to work hard. Tom Robinson, Zakopi Kepu at tight head, Damien Fitzpatrick, the young hooker. And opportunity for those up against the Tafu plotter now. Hannigan and also Dean Munn plays his last game ever. And the 33-year-old's been sensational for the Waratahs over a long period of time. The back row, Jack Dempsey, the skipper Michael Hooper, and Michael Wells will be number 8. George Gregan, the back line for the Waratahs.
And in the back line, we've obviously got Gordon and obviously Bernard Foley looking to really dictate terms in terms of these conditions. Wet and greasy, they'll have to be really decisive and make this midfield. Horwitz and Rob Horn, who's obviously playing in his last match for the Waratahs, they'll be want to direct traffic and defend really well in the midfield against Bill Meeks and co. Back three, Falau, Clark, Naira Voro. These are the sort of conditions where there's going to be a lot of kick returns, so they'll have to be spot on in terms of their skill execution.
Well, quite a few of these backs and forwards reserves might be playing for their futures as well. Nick Phipps, good to see him back though from injury. He'll play his 109th game when he gets on in the second half, if he gets on. And the Western Force, well, a lot of emotion hanging around this team, especially surrounding number 7, their captain, Matt Hodgson. Yeah,
wonderful leader, Matt Hodgson, but we'll have to keep their emotions in check. Up front will be really important. to Tafu Pallotta now at hook, obviously played many years for the Waratahs. What a battle that'll be up front. Peck Cowan and Faulkner in tight head prop. In the second row, Phillip and also Adam Coleman. How good's Adam Coleman been last week? A try, 61 run metres, 3 tackle busts, 16 tackles. He's been in sensational form. Howlett Petty, Matt Hodgson. What a moment for him tonight, the skipper. He's one of the foundation members of the Western Force. A great occasion for him tonight.
And Michael Ruru and Peter Grant, they had a really outstanding game last week and showed good combination, good experience in terms of what they did. They allowed the midfield, which is Meeks and Rona, who were very, very good with their running game and ball distribution, moving to the edges. And I thought the back three were outstanding. As we'll see here, Dane Halapetti, Braaki's back, and Newsom. They'll be looking to make every opportunity a winner tonight.
Good mixture of youth and experience on the bench. Heath Tessman will play his 77th game when he gets on in the second half. Richard Hardwick, a new Wallaby. Ian Pryor hopes to make it his 50th cap for the Western Force tonight. John O'Lance there as well. And we are underway in slippery, wet conditions in the West. And it is the New South Wales Waratahs who are desperate to start well this week. It's been a flaw in their season, the amount of points they concede in the first half. Back to Foley for the clearance. Keeps it in the field of play. It goes down to his opposite number, Peter Grant, and across now to Dane Halapetti. And it's been snapped out of the air there by Jake Gordon. And it goes forward, so it is play on. It's loose by the Waratahs at the breakdown. And Howlett Petty gets it out to his brother, up to the halfway, that's Ross. Then Howlett Petty, and now Rona going wide, and he got away from one, got it back on the inside, and Newsom! Try time to the Western Force. What about the start? Unbelievable! Alex Newsom gets his 5th try in his rookie season, and again, a terrible start by the Waratahs.
Well, when you're the skipper, Matty Hodgson, he would have spoke to the team before they were out, so we have to start well. What a start. Watch the work from Curtis Rona on the right-hand side. He's 50 metres out. He just keeps running. Damien Fitzpatrick holds off, falls off, and his leg drive got him across because Israel Folau was coming across. That's just brilliant support play from the Western Force from Newsom.
Yeah, Timmy, what a great bit of play. Look at this ball in 2 hands, showing, going, I might run, I might pass, I'll keep my feet. Beautiful offload and the support play. What a perfect start for the Force. As you said, they would have spoken about starting well, and they're pumped by that start, and a really good way to get the crowd behind you when you're playing such an emotional match.
And it's going to be Peter Grant to the side of the post, and no problem from there. So the man that scored over 950 points in Super Rugby keeps the scoreboard ticking over. It is 7 points to nil. If you've just joined us after 2 minutes, another poor start by the Waratahs, but a fantastic beginning for the Western Force.
Good work, Curtis Rona. Wonderful player. Billy Meeks, that centre combination so far in 2017's worked really well.
So Coleman safe under the high ball. Marcel Braki finds himself in the middle of the rolling ball, the left winger. And then it's nice Serrani going to ground. And it's not going to come out of there. So the Waratahs will gain a bit of confidence out of that. They'll get the put in on the 10-metre mark. An opportunity for them to attack.
George Gregan, this scrum's right in front of you on the sideline. The conditions obviously very slippery after the rain pre-game, but also just drizzling at the moment.
Yeah, they had just a bit of quite a big downpour just before both teams ran out, so it is a bit slippery, but this is a good surface. It's a hard surface in terms of short grass, and what I do like is the fact that the referee's got them in nice and close to make sure the footing's nice and strong, so we don't have a lot of repacks, but it's going to play a significant role these conditions tonight.
Gordon puts it in, takes it out. Naira Voro looking for an early touch. The big man crashes over the top of Grant. So Gordon getting it out now to Hannigan. Gordon, now Kepu. They continue to work over to the left side, and the inside ball to Robertson, running off Foley. Now Dempsey. Good defence from Coleman.
Let it come, hold blue.
Peter Grant still down in back play for the Force.
And the chip through. The chase is on. Foley keeps it on the toe. Oh, was he taken out there by Dane Hallett-Petty? No, he wasn't. Fair play. So we'll come back to the 22.
Nice play from Bernard Foley. Good thinking. No one in behind. Dane Hallett-Petty was coming across defensively and did well to cover. There's going to be a lot more of that along the ground in these conditions. Is perfect. The chip over the top doesn't work in these conditions. Dane Hallett-Petty covered. Peter Grant making a low tackle on Naira Voro. Was on the ground for a long time. Still getting treatment now in back play. Just gets to his feet.
Well, head-to-head, these two teams have played 17 times. The Waratahs have won 11, the Force 5. There was a 1 draw in Sydney in 2007. Here in Perth at NIB, it's the Waratahs with 5 wins, the Force 2. Crosstown at Subiaco in the early years of the Western Force, the Waratahs won 2 to none. So it is play on now, and Foley has to take it into contact. Lays it back for Gordon, who has a little snipe and then hands it off to his captain, Michael Hooper. And the penalty will go against the Western Force.
Yep. Defected to clear out. No, 2. You're fine. 2's got to get out.
Bernard Foley points immediately for the post.
Tafu Plotter now penalised for not rolling away. Good little snipe from Jake Gordon. I like the way he does that, George, around the edge of the breakdown. He really asks some questions. He likes running to the right-hand side as well, and he makes those couple of guys, the pillars, close to the breakdown, make those defensive tackles.
Yeah, he keeps them honest, doesn't he? And I think one part of the game which you'd like to see them add is like when he does do that, or any time a halfback's running, you've got those people flattening up and looking to hit holes square. But he certainly asks a lot of questions around there with his running game, particularly in these greasy conditions. It's not a bad option to have, that's for sure.
So Bernard Foley with his first shot of the night, kicking at 82% in 2017 in Super Rugby. 5 from 5 last week, 22 points last week against the Jaguares. And no problem with the distance, and the direction is good as well. And so the Waratahs on the board. It is the Western Force leading by 7 points to 3.
And skipper Michael Hooper knew how important it was to get a little bit of field position, but also come away with some points as well after only 6 minutes of play.
Well, the stats show that the Waratahs don't shoot for the post as much as other teams. They've been happy to put it into the corner and go for 7. But points are important for them when you've got their first half record this year. So Grant infield, it goes to Halleck Petty happy to run it into the forwards on halfway. And Grant finds Tetra Faulkner. Back to Ruru. And Bill Meeks, from a standing start. He loses it though. It's backwards, and so playing a scrum advantage. Knocked on by the Force a second time round. And there's the grubber kick from Foley and Hooper.
Boys, play this out.
Doesn't get to attack the ball because the whistle had gone.
So I don't mind that from the Waratahs. Bernard Foley not finding touch in these conditions. Kick long and back your defensive pressure.
Nice moment, gentlemen, at the 7-minute mark of this game. The crowd on its feet. Matt Hodgson, the man with 7 on his back, and they are chanting, Hodjo, Hodjo. It's a tribute to their stalwart retiring tonight.
A nice touch again. Scored 13 tries at NIB Stadium, Matt Hodgson, so that's a record. 12 seasons. And gets a start. And he's replacing Richard Hardwick.
Israel Folau, right-hand side.
And it goes to Folau now. And he got the ball away to Naya Ravora, and the big man is into touch.
That's a good number 8 defensive tackle from Naisarani. A little bit short on numbers. The number 8 from the Force came across and covered Naya Ravora.
Just take responsibility for your line. White, step off.
Israel Folau was standing in behind the scrum, so Jake Gordon had some options. It's Naisarani, stay alive. Makes the tackle.
Good line-out win by the Force. And Pallotta now has it at the back. And he's happy to rumble a little further upfield.
Playing advantage.
Advantage is being played now for the Western Force is Ruru.
Number Coops.
Got it out to Grant. He lays it back. Ruru, Naisarani. Got away from the attempted tackle of Dean Mummer, then offloads, but it's gone forward, so advantage being played. So it goes against Tom Robertson for collapsing them all.
Naisarani, every time he gets the ball, always beats that first up defender. Such a handful last week. Ran for over 100 run metres. 3 tackle busts, 11 tackles. Certainly got himself involved.
Well, the upside to that too, Timmy, he's got good footwork and he can get an offload game. You just saw that from pretty much a standing start, and they knew they had balls not out. They're the sort of errors which hurt you in this type of conditions.
And Foley happy to put it into touch this time up around the halfway mark. In fact, no, it's about 9 metres inside Waratahs territory. So a mistake there from the Western Force, not finding touch, but they will get the throw into the line-out inside the Waratahs territory anyway.
Don't walk in, you guys don't crowd the gap. Okay, step off. Step off.
Waratahs have won the last 2 against the Force. They're going for 3 in a row for the first time since 2014. Going for 4 straight wins in Aussie derbies for the first time since 2015. One at the back by the Force, and Meeks to Peter Grant. Throwing one over now to Newsom. Cuts back in field, and it's an opportunity on the far side for Halleck Petty. Advantage is being played now for the Western Force. It goes now to Matt Phillip. And the Waratahs coming through with a penalty will go to the Force, and they take it quickly. And Ruru are inside the 10. Real opportunity here. And will he go to the pocket? He will. I've got a feeling it could be a yellow card. Yet another yellow card. And it is Jake Gordon, the scrum half who was coming from the field.
Gee, they've had 6 yellow cards in the past 4 games, the Waratahs. Discipline's really hurting them. Jake Gordon going off now. That was smart play from Michael Ruru. Quick tap and go. He knew that the players weren't retreating back 10 metres.
Yeah, it was a clever decision, wasn't it, Tim? They knew they had the advantage in the 22. It's very hard to get back 10 metres, so clever play there from Ruru, and just milked another 10 metres and also got a yellow card out of it. So they're a really good opportunity for them to take this numerical advantage with the extra man.
Go for touch, yeah, nice call. Matt Hodgson, he's got some momentum, the skipper, so let's take a 5-metre line out. Just watch where the Waratahs try and number up Dean Mumm, Ned Hannigan. Don't lift.
So a great opportunity here for the locals. They've already scored 1 try and they're edging closer. Momentum here for the Western Force, getting very close. It's a try. The referee has a close look. And there's another 5-pointer as the crowd applauds. Some good work by the forwards. Tautafu Polota now. Second try for the season, 14th for his career. And the momentum is with the home team.
Yeah, good decision. As I mentioned, Matt Hodgson go for touch 5. Line out. And just the drive they got going forward. Tendra Faulkner. And then Tautafu Polota now. Watch him at the back. Ruru comes in and helps with 5 metres out and gets a really good drive going forward. I thought Bernard Foley had stopped the try here. Got underneath. But finally, Tautafu Polota now just got it down.
Yeah, Timmy, it was all in the setup, wasn't it? Initially, the men up front, they just kept that arrowhead and they stayed nice and tight. Didn't allow any of the Waratahs to come through and disrupt that drive. They just spin it off at the end. There's no way you're going to let Tautafu Polota now not score that close to the line. So an emotional try. It's really bringing this crowd into the equation.
Western Force coach Dave Vessels was asked during the week, you know, how are you going to keep a lid on the emotion? And he looked at the reporter and he said, why would we want to do that? He said, let them enjoy it. Let them enjoy the build-up. And he's got them cherry ripe for the start of this game.
So Peter Grant, 5 tests for the Springboks, now 32 years of age, 124th game of Super Rugby, and he adds the extra 2, so it is 14 points to 3. So the Waratahs, yet another yellow card, yet another converted try while they're down a man in the bin. And Tautafu Polota now, that's his very first try at his new ground, NIB Stadium.
He had some work to do too, Tautafu Polota now. So there's 2 Waratahs defenders on him, and he finally got it down right on the line. Jake Gordon still over 7 minutes in the sin bin left for him.
And it'll be Bernard Foley.
So it looked like Peter Grant's leaving the field. It must be a concussion test. So he's kicked the conversion and left the field.
Foley goes along with the kick-off, and it goes down to the replacement. Lands, and he's taken by his former teammate Michael Hooper, and safely into touch. 12 metres inside Western Force territory. Jono Lance. He's a former Queensland Red and former New South Wales Waratah. One by Dempsey, down to Foley, who's into scrum half, and Hooper out to Rob Horne in his swan song before heading to the UK. And Foley thought he spotted a gap, and now he offloads, and Wells takes it forward. Good carry up to the 22. Fitzpatrick. No Tolu Latu again this week for the Waratahs. He injured himself playing for his club team, Sydney University, last week.
Stay blue.
Pick and go here.
See Bernard Foley playing scrum half, number 10 there, so he's just trying to get some forward runners.
Sikopi Kepu very slow to get up, and he looks to be in some trouble. Sikopi Kepu down on his haunches in back play. Now it goes out to Michael Hooper, who just slips, and Braki is there to claim him. Robertson. Oh, good counter coming in from Bill Meeks. But it comes back for the Waratahs, and the ball was out, and so diving on it there was Ross Alec-Petty. Just look at the enthusiasm of the Western Force forwards at the breakdown. And now they go wide again. This time it's Lance who has to just check his run and come back in, and now the penalty.
1-6. Too high, yeah.
And it goes against Jack Dempsey and Alec-Petty. Advantage because they won't back the 10 metres again. So now it goes out to Phillip. And the pass from Alec-Petty across to Braki. He does well, the winger, to stay in the field of play. And now a penalty. Foley comes in, so discipline really hurting the Waratahs.
Ball's not out. Let it go, guys. You got the penalty.
Plenty of feeling out there.
It's also the up-tempo that the Western Force are playing.
Sure.
Dane Halapeti took a quick tap, had advantage, went straight down the middle of the field, then shifted the ball to the left and really picked the pace of the game up to try and take it to the Waratahs.
Yeah, it's a good point, Timmy, isn't it? Like they're taking every opportunity to play at their pace. Yeah, there's a couple of high shots have been coming in, so you're going to have to watch the discipline, the Waratahs. But it's been a fantastic start where they've tapped into the emotion, but they've executed their skills really well. No better example than here at line-out time where they set up another drive.
Only 17 minutes gone already. The Force have scored more points tonight than any other opening 20 minutes this season. They lead by 14 points to 3. 2 converted tries to none. The Waratahs still with the man in the bin. So back it goes to Horwitz this time. Not a great kick. Not a lot of distance on that. So Braki fires it across now to Halapeti. Taken on halfway by Horwitz. Oh, a poor pass. Ball is a little slippery, but no excuse for that, really.
No fullback for the Western Force, but no one spotted that for the Waratahs.
And a loose carry there from Kepu, who was down not so long ago.
The original knock from Blue.
Bernard Foley putting the ball into the scrum. See, because Jake Gordon is still off with 2 minutes left in the sin bin. Wonder if he's practiced this in training. Bernard Foley. Waiting for the tap from Damien Fitzpatrick. Does it well.
And the penalty goes against the Western Force on halfway. Congratulations all round by the Waratahs.
Tetra Faulkner penalised for collapsing the scrum. Cameron Clark there coming in and talking to his forward pack. He knows how important that was. Only a quarter of the game gone. But Israel Folau stepping up. 50 metres out, right in front.
Gee, Tim, from memory, this has got to be his first ever kick in Super Rugby. Israel Folau.
Yep, and from 50 out right in front, so he's left it a long time to take his first ever kick in Super Rugby, just out of the range of Bernard Foley.
He's obviously done it at training, because you just don't step up and say, give me a crack, do you? Not in the last game of the regular season.
Also eats up a little bit of time while Jake Gordon is still sitting on the sideline waiting to come back on.
So a little bit of history here. A first for Israel Folau. Can he nail it? And he has the direction but not the distance.
Gee, only short by a couple of metres too, Israel Folau. Hit it fairly sweet.
So it remains 14 points to 3, but they did wind down the clock a little bit, and Jake Gordon, you would think, would be back on there after the next stoppage. So hang time there, and Folau takes it and they claim him immediately. That's one way to get Israel Folau out of the attack. Keep him at the bottom of the ruck. Maya Ravoro again flirting with the touchline. He might be 130 odd kilograms, but you've got to watch the chalk.
Yeah, Dane Halapeti pushed him across to the sideline, showed him the sideline. Maya Ravoro got to come off the right foot and stay in field. Watch Billy Meeks just waiting. Billy Meeks shows him the sideline as well.
Yeah, well, Billy Meeks a courageous defender. We saw as they go to the driving ball. They've had some success. And we'll see them continue doing this. Tatafu just driving at the back.
15 on 15 again. Jake Gordon back from the sin bin. And Ruru goes high, and Folau comes forward and leaps and takes it again on halfway this time. And Gordon, yeah, playing the scrum half.
Leave it, you got the penalty. Leave it, boys.
It was his Sydney University teammate of old, Matt Phillip, that came through and put some pressure on him in an offside position.
Blue roll.
Just trying to disrupt Jake Gordon's quick ball. Israel Folau. There's not too many better under the high ball in world rugby than Israel Folau. Adam Coleman trying to roll out of the way as well. Matt Phillip coming through and disrupting the ball.
Yep, hold him, Matt.
Opportunity now, 15 metres out for the Waratahs.
Right, let's go.
Damien Fitzpatrick.
Can't have two receivers. I need one in there.
Dean Mums calling the line out. There goes to Mum. And Hooper offloads to Gordon. Now it is Dempsey. Pretty good carry. Gordon out to Fitzpatrick, and solid defence there, and Tafu Pallotta now right over the ball, and it's a turnover, and then the kick through. And Ruro's back there.
From blue 12.
So it was knocked on by Billy Meeks initially. So it will be the Waratahs with the put in. Options either side now. Scrum right in midfield.
It's good defence from Pat Cowan. He's slow to get back to his feet. The number one, and allowed Tafu Pallotta now to get himself over the ball, and nearly got a turnover.
It's tough. He's got himself in good position a couple of times this evening, Tim, and that's almost created that turnover. A little bit of greasy conditions didn't allow them to maximise that. So poor old Bill Meeks knocked that on, but puts the Waratahs in a great position. You can see in that position, two people in the back. That's Bernard Foley and Israel Foley. They choose either way, 2-2 split. So see what side they promote and what choice they make.
You'd like to try and go right-hand side if you can, because Michael Ruru at number 9 is defending on the right side of the Western Force side. So Bernard Foley would make sure that both sides are ready to go. Michael Wells at the back of the scrum for the Waratahs. With Rob Horn on the right-hand side with Nora Ravoro.
Crouch! Fine! Set! Yeah, boys. Listen, both packs are pre-engaged, okay? Let's get that space before the set.
Tapu Pallotta now and Sekope Kepu, former teammates. The Waratahs.
Mate, help him out. Pixie warrior.
Tafu Pallotta now telling Damien Fitzpatrick to help out Sekope Kepu.
Crouch!
Oh, I love it.
Fine! Set!
Gordon puts it in. Big shove coming from the Western Force. And it's been picked up by Michael Wells at the back in the nick of time. So terrific scrum by the locals. Now it's Hennigan. No way through there. Coleman right on top of him.
No, someone's thrown him into that.
And Foley. There's Fitzpatrick. 10 out. The Waratahs desperate for a try. Robertson goes in low. Now Kepu over the advantage line. Foley got it out to Michael Hooper. Right on top of him.
Playing advantage.
Advantage is being played now, so they just have to remain patient now. Foley got it back to Hennigan. They weren't patient,
Blue 7.
but they were playing advantage, so they can take the 3 here and come away with some points.
Matt Hodgson penalised, not rolling away. It was an important tackle he had to make too. Waratahs starting to get into a little bit of patterns.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it was a nice build-up, wasn't it, Timmy, where they just controlled the ball and controlled where they actually were trying to attack. Sometimes a little bit closer, 2 passes a little bit wider. You're not going to get much further than that in these conditions, particularly with that tight, heavy contact with the line speed and good spacing from the force. They defended well, but that's a nice line. He runs beautiful square lines, Michael Hooper, and that set up that quick ball and forced this illegal infringement there from Matt Hodgson.
Yeah, Matt Hodgson coming in from the side, so Nick Berry, the referee, just saying being careful down this end of the field.
.27 gone in the first half. Bernard Foley. Flags go up. 14 points to 6. Western Force up over the Waratahs.
A good challenge for the Waratahs here tonight to try and claw their way back into the game. Bernard Foley, he's the player. Shows a lot of patience at this sort of level. Also at test match level as well, a lot of experience.
Taken by Foley, hands it back to Michael Hooper, runs into his Wallaby teammate to Tafu Pilota now. And that's sloppy.
Passed in.
Back it goes to Dave Horwitz. And they're saying play on, knock back there. So Matt Hodgson is at scrum half. Cowan, Phillip. Taken by Horwitz. Wuru. Forwards working closely there. Pilota out, getting it off to Faulkner. Jono Lance goes to the air. It's going to come down around halfway. Knocked back into the arms there of Howlett Petty. And the penalty goes against the Western Force, holding on.
Watch the work from Cameron Clark. He pounced very quickly. He saw the opportunity. Struggled to get himself involved in the game so far tonight. The ball hasn't gone his way, Cameron Clark, but he certainly pounced, got his arms over the ball. His body height was superb. Rob Horn makes the tackle there. Cameron Clark comes in, stays on his feet, supports his body weight.
So it'll be a Waratahs throw in, 10-metre mark. Hennigan goes high. Safe hands. Gordon. Now Sakopi Kepu. Shoulder seems to be okay again. Foley looks up. And this one here will roll into the in goal. Just overcooking it. They will come back to the 22.
It's still okay from Bernard Foley, though. It keeps the ball down this end of the field where Waratahs are just starting to put the Western Force under a little bit more pressure. It's scoreboard pressure at the moment that's hurting the Waratahs. 10 minutes till half-time.
Jono Lance, it's a bit on it. It's going to come down on the 10-metre mark. Israel Folau for the Waratahs. Has to take the tackle just inside Force territory. Fitzpatrick. Foley, Hennigan. Oh, Ross Petty went low and forces a mistake, and so it's there as they fling it out the back, and onto the left foot now is Ruru. And it's going to go into touch, one bounce.
Well, at the moment it's the line speed defensively for the Western Force, which is hurting the Waratahs to try and throw that second pass off the ruck. And Bernard Foley, players defensively are already up. And Ned Hannigan had nowhere to go there. He takes the ball, he virtually gets tackled by Ross Petty as he takes the ball. Difficult to throw that second pass in these conditions.
That's into touch. Good clearance that time from the Waratahs. Line out on halfway. Bernard Foley, such a key player for the Waratahs. I mentioned 22 points last week. A double last week. He scored the most points and line break assists and most try assists for the Waratahs as well. 4th season in a row where he scored over 100 points. To Tafu Pilota now, and knocked back, and a wobbly old bounce there for Ruru, but he was able to clean it up. So Hodgson. Wells around the bootlaces. Phillip.
Stay wide. From the side, sir. Playing advantage. From the side.
Jack Dempsey coming in from the side. And it's a fine line. The referee was right there, and so a good opportunity again for the Force to get the pill inside Waratahs territory.
Yeah, Jack Dempsey getting frustrated, trying to get some counter-rucking going for the Waratahs. Slipping around to the right-hand side, coming through from the side rather than from behind the last feet.
Michael.
Yeah, Timmy, it's a sort of night, isn't it, where you've just got to be patient. You've got to trust. Everyone talks about their defensive system. If you're making your first up tackles, you can trust the players inside you to keep knocking them off and then pick your moments, but don't try and force it. As soon as you start bringing the referee and he starts losing patience with you, you start giving the opposition easy metres up the field, which is just done there.
Ruru goes in digging. Now he gives it to Lance, and on the angle run is Rona. Making the most of his first season in Super Rugby. Phillip can't find a way through there. Knock on. Wow.
There's feet everywhere.
His feet.
Western Force claiming there was a stray boot there from one of the Waratahs.
The Waratahs are sending an extra player to the breakdown now defensively. Michael Hooper's the one about 2 or 3 out, rushing up to force the Western Force runners back in field.
Ball's out.
Here we go, Tom. Let's go, Lou.
That's what I said.
Let's go.
Dave Horitz, who's signed with the Melbourne Rebels for 2018.
Fine.
Good opportunity here for Naira on the...
Wow, well, there's a coach killer.
Got to be steady.
Goes against the New South Wales Waratahs. It's only a short arm, so a free kick, and the
you guys have got to hold your
Western
weight.
Force say no, we'll take a scrum.
There's your mark. Just there.
Jono Lance talking to Dane Halapetty, also Billy Meeks, to about work out what they're going to do in the next 5 minutes of this match. Halapetty goes to the left-hand side, big left-hand side blind.
Yeah, Jimmy, they've got a little 4-2. We don't see it at the moment. It's a 4-2 split, which is a nice little setup in these greasy conditions. We know Dane Halapetty's got a really good ball carry, but also sets him up nicely to the right too to potentially have some nice one-on-ones and some soft shoulders in these greasy conditions. We'll see which side they choose to go.
They go to the left, and Halapetty puts it on the toe. The chase is on. Braki coming through. It's loose, and Braki is claiming a try for the Western Force. Wobbly old ball. He remained committed.
What were the Waratahs thinking? Israel Folau and Naira Voro, no one...
I believe it's an on-field try.
Okay.
Just want to check grounding.
Sure. Okay.
They both looked at each other.
See you, mate. But our on-field decision is a try. I just need you to check grounding.
On-field
Looking at
decisions,
the grounding
try,
now.
Checking for grounding.
Great little left foot kick from Dane Halapetty. If he kicks with his right foot here, he's got defence coming across on his right foot, so smart play to go with the left foot to get the ball through.
First angle coming up now.
So he keeps it on the toe and reaching out. Well, he gets the torso over the ball. Was it over the line?
I just want to make sure that he grounds it over the line first.
Was it short or on the line?
Did he get any downward pressure when the ball was over the line?
Personally, looking at that, I think he did. I think he literally put his whole stomach on it and put a lot of downward pressure on it when it was over the line, and then it was forced again just post there, so there's definitely no knock on.
Just give us a sec.
This is our last angle coming through now, Viv.
Well, it's Rob Hall was
on the
trying to
line.
get back.
That ball's been grounded under the blue player. Actually, we have one more angle the director wants to show.
Thank you.
One more angle here that might show it. Is it over the line? Oh. You've got to give it, haven't you?
I don't know. It certainly was before the line, but
Nick, you can stay with the on-field decision and award the try.
Just make sure try. Time back on.
It is a try to the Western Force. 3 tries in the first half already. And it is 19 points to 6.
well, that's the poor defensive work from the Waratahs. Everyone was looking at each other. Rob Horn was the one who went down the ball. Naira Voro had to try and get back. Israel Folau wasn't sure. Marcel Braki picked up his 6th Super Rugby try. well to fall on the ball. What's the left foot kick here from Harlett Petty? Rob Horne comes back, tries to get on the ball. Comes off the foot of Waratahs.
Well, Timmy, it's a combination of not just on his left boot, but also just the weight of that kick. A really well-executed kick, and see if the extras can be added here.
So John Lance, who is on 99 Super Rugby points. Can he bring up his ton? Not this time. It remains 19 points to 6, and it is Marcel Brachi's first try at NIB Stadium. Congratulations to him.
Good call from Nick Berry, though, the referee. Went with his on-field decision.
So the Waratahs have conceded 26+ points in every away game this season. They've already conceded 19 in the first half at NIB Stadium. So this first half nightmare continues for the men from New South Wales.
Inside now.
36 minutes gone, 19 points to 6. Back to Lance. Into touch. Quick throw in.
Wow.
They are now desperate for points before half-time. As Hooper takes them forward. They go to the left, and Foley to nobody.
Not wanting the tackle from Blue.
Well, in fact, it was knocked down by a Western Force player. And it went into touch, so that's the reason it didn't link up with anyone.
Really important time in the game. 3 minutes before half-time. Waratahs need to get something on the board before half-time.
This is hard up both sides.
Western Force, their energy has been superb in the first half. They've out-enthused the Waratahs. Waratahs had so much ball in the Western Force half.
Crouch!
Yeah, you're spot on, Timmy. It's a really good opportunity here for the Waratahs to take something into half-time. They've got their whole back line lined out here to the right. Maybe a simple play, just everyone hitting square holes in these wet conditions. See if they can get a weak shoulder defensively from the Force.
So Foley, short ball. It goes to Rob Horne. He's claimed by his opposite number, Curtis Rona. Foley.
Get her out. Release! Hold Blue!
Hennigan. And Naya Ravoro can't do much from a short run-up. Robertson hands it off. And the Western Force defence was just waiting for that. Now it's Hennigan. Sarani wraps him up, but the hands were free, and so he offloads to Foley. Short ball. Line ball, in fact, and then they lose it. And so away they go again. It's 2-on-1! And John Lance, Michael Hooper chasing. John Lance is going to have too much in the tank. And they run away and break some New South Wales hearts on the stroke of half-time. Oh, loose carry from New South Wales, another coach killer. And the Western Force are on a mission. They want to send Matt Hodgson down a winner.
And the vision, too, from Tatafu plotted out to shift the ball straight away. Gee, I thought Michael Hooper was going to make some ground on John Lance. What's Tatafu plotted out? Shifts it straight away. Knew there was time and space out there. Clark had to come in on Curtis Rona. John Lance, just a foot race. Michael Hooper, after being in the breakdown, turned. Couldn't get there. Try time right on half-time for the Western Force.
Oh, Timmy, good teams make the most of turnover opportunities. That's a classic example just before half-time. Could that be the one which really does set this into a magical night for Matt Hodgson? A really lovely finish. And he showed good set of wheels there, John Lance. Been obviously doing a bit of speed work, Timmy.
I thought Michael Hooper was going to make some ground on him. Did not pull any off him whatsoever. Michael Hooper.
Wow, doing plenty of talking.
He is going off. Not happy.
Another loose carry, and they were punished. And John Lance now has 100 Super Rugby points, so a milestone for him. Right on the stroke of halftime, 24 points to 6, and the crowd likes it. It is over. Wow. One-way traffic at the moment at NIB Stadium in Perth. They averaged 26 points against them on the road. Well, they've already given up 26 in the first half as they kick off now, and it's going to fall for the Western Force after a knock on by the Waratahs. And the penalty goes to the Western Force. Perfect start to the second half, and well, a few emotions out there.
Yeah, Dean Mum running in there.
No. Leave it, boys, leave it, go back.
That's okay. You need to try and spark something for the Waratahs.
Blue, step back, please. Blue, step back. White, off you go.
Adam Coleman right in the thick of it.
Take him back. Dean, back.
Old Bull versus young Bull.
Will anything?
33-year-old Dean Mum.
No, Coops.
And the 25-year-old Adam Coleman. Sorry, George.
I was going to say, Clarky, you'll have to call that the Super Rugby waltz at the moment, isn't it? There's a lot of push and shove and from side to side, but, you know, that's what happens with the tight forwards, having been banging heads against each other for the last couple of seasons. It's just that sort of a night.
Well, he raced in because he thought Matt Hodgson played on. Tom Robinson, but a little bit of push and shove.
Yeah, that's a good touch finder. Terrific opportunity early on for the Western Force. They're 26 points so far, all scored in the first half, so that's the most first half points at home since 2014. They're on a mission.
It's good effort, isn't it? 4 tries in the first half. Nice Serrani at the front.
Yes, and a lot of now. We saw so much of this in the wet conditions in the first half, and they rumble upfield. Going for a bit of a ride there is Ned Hennigan. I don't know what he's doing in the air, but anyway, the arm goes out. So this is a real lesson in the wet weather by the Western Force, and they get the penalty.
One white.
Goes against Tom Robinson, pulling down the ball.
One white.
And you would think Matt Hodgson would still go to touch here.
Well, why not with the rolling ball working so well?
Yeah, a long way out. Ned Hennigan.
He's a boy from the bush. He's ridden plenty of bulls before, I'm sure, or horses.
Yeah, he was riding the Force chariot there, wasn't he? He's right on top, getting right amongst it. Didn't quite buck him, but it's been a really strong weapon for them tonight, the Force. And not surprising they've gone to the line out again.
Tatafu Pilota now finds the target, Philip, and he's held up there. So this is an opportunity for the Waratahs to hold it in there, and they do. So, yeah, he just couldn't get it to ground, could he? Couldn't get it on his side.
Well, that time Ned Hennigan got his arms around the ball, and Nick Perry, the referee, said maul. So Waratahs players didn't have to roll away, so they can fall on the ball. On the first 40 minutes, the Western Force has shown you don't need the ball in wet weather rugby to win the game. 4 tries in the first half, a couple off turnovers. It's all their defensive pressure at the moment up against the Waratahs. Waratahs trying to push too many short passes.
Well, the only thing going for the Waratahs is they've been able to score plenty of second half points this season. But they need to certainly score plenty tonight again. And the big shove is coming, and it's on the ground, and oh, this could be a fairy tale. It is in his final game for the Western Force. Matt Hodgson swoops, and he has got a try. It's his 20th try, so he brings up 100 points.
Wow, who is writing this script over here in WA? The Western Force fans cannot believe it. 5 tries so far in this match. And the skipper, Matt Hodgson, in his last game ever, gets probably the easiest try that he'll ever get in his career. The pressure from the Force scrum, and it came out the back. Michael Wells couldn't hold it, and Matt Hodgson pounced. Bang, what a try.
Oh, that's just a fantastic scrum, a really well-worked 8-man shove. They went round the corner on the loose head side, then went straight, and that ball spits out the side, and aren't the coaches happy with that, and particularly seeing the skipper, Matt Hodgson, go over for that try.
Who is writing the script? Matt Hodgson could not believe it.
And John O'Lance can't add the extra 2, but that is a fantastic start to the second half. 31 points to 6. So the family, mum and dad, his wife there is Max there. What a proud man he must be. And I tell you what, the coach would be feeling rather proud at the moment. Let's go to Dave Vessels. Dave, you said you weren't going to try and bottle their emotion. You said let the players run with it, and they're running with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've defended well in that first half. Clock, it probably created a bit of pressure, you know, and we just got to keep doing that. I'm just very pleased that Hodjo scored that try. It's just a great moment, you know, so I was very, very, very chuffed with that.
Dave, you seem to be playing really good wet weather football, not controlling the ball too much, but defensively been outstanding, especially with the forward runners for the Waratahs.
Yeah, we worked hard on our defence this week because I didn't think we were great there last week, and we needed to be better. You know, the Waratahs are a very good attacking outfit, so we needed to be better, and so far so good. But as we know, they've been very strong in the second half of the last couple of games, so there's a long way to go here still.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. So far, so good. As Foley chips ahead, and a good take by Newsom as well. Dave Vessels, like all of us, waiting to hear whether we'll be back at NIB Stadium next year, or will the Western Force be cut from Super Rugby?
Well, they've been here 12 years, Clarkie.
And on this performance tonight, well, a lot of people are going to say, what, you're going to cut them?
Yeah. Well, they've only had a 32% win record since they started, but what a moment for Matt Hodgson, one of the foundation members of the Western Force, scoring a try in his last game ever.
Well, prior to tonight, the Force had only ever scored 20-plus points just once at NIB Stadium against the Waratahs. Now they've got 31. Remember, the Waratahs have been leaking points, so it looks like they might head to the stats pages again. It could be 40-plus points conceded yet again in a match in 2017.
Another turnover. Dave Horwitz trying to get a pass away, went to ground.
Pick and go here from Naisarani. So Ruru gets it out to John O'Lance. Started on the bench, but he's out there for the injured Peter Grant. Israel Folau. Safely into touch, didn't pick up too many metres. He's been well contained tonight. It's been difficult for the outside backs for the Waratahs. No ball for them whatsoever. The men in blue dominating things. In close in particular.
Billy Meeks, that man there, midfield for the Western Force, has got through an amount of work defensively.
Not straight, boys.
So that is not straight.
On the 15.
So it will be a put in for the Waratahs. Most points ever scored against the Waratahs by the Western Force.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Daryl Gibson does. He's got a lot of players on the bench that will be itching to get out there. Nick Phipps, Andrew Callaway, Ryan McCauley as well, the second rower, loose forward,
Give me that space
yet to make his debut.
Crouch! Fine!
10-metre mark.
Set!
Gordon puts it in.
Let's use it, 9.
And Foley finds some grass, and it sits up nicely, though.
Backwards.
Michael Ruru did well to scramble back.
His teammates did well to get back there as well and secure it at the breakdown. Here's Lance, and he rushes the kick, but gets it away. Down to Folau, and across to Foley. Takes them on, can't find a way through. Pick and go here. Fitzpatrick.
Turnover's good.
And the turnover was good at the breakdown by the Western Force. A nice Arani. Dragged down from behind, but got them on the front foot. And Hodgson. Cowan.
Hold right.
Another one of the foundation players. There's only 2 of them left, Peck Cowan and Matt Hodgson. And Peck Cowan will get his time next year because he is staying on for another year. Here's Folau, not kicking this time.
Stay. Blue
Gordon
back.
out to Hooper. Meeks claims him. Box kick coming from Gordon.
It was
And
a
the
well-weighted
Western Force just continued to control it, Tim.
Yeah, it was a well-weighted kick for the Western Force.
Yeah, you're right, Tim. That's a really clever play. Michael Ruru showed some really good initiative, really decisive play. Saw there was a turnover. No one was back left. Kicked it into space. Forced Izzy Folau into that right-hand corner where he had no angle. Forced him to actually carry it. And here they are, 38 metres out from their Waratahs line with a great attacking line. And they'll go to that drive. Why not in these conditions? It's worked so well for them tonight.
Well, they're in control now, and these sort of moves just eat away the seconds as well. And it helps them control field position. Waratahs' bodies all over the place. They're being left behind, but it's going to be the Waratahs that will get the put in. As we have a look at the Waratahs bench now, and can somebody come out and pull off a little bit of magic? Nick Phipps there, back from injury, an injury that cost him any chance of playing in the June tests.
Well, you got to get some fresh legs on the next 5 minutes, Parky. The players out there at the moment, it's been a pretty tough conditions to play in for the Waratahs, and some of them look out on their feet. It's not a very tall line out for the Waratahs, and Naisarani, the number 8 for the Force, has been picked up a couple of line outs at the front of the line out pretty easily.
Just while we've got an opportunity, some big news in Australian rugby breaking tonight. Former Wallaby coach Alan Jones has been named as the coach of the Barbarians to play the Wallabies in October. We'll hear more about that. Jones against Checker.
Yeah, 1 week after the 3rd Bledisloe Cup in Brisbane will be played. Barbarians game played in Sydney the week following.
So the Waratahs. Foley got it out now to Folau. Where's the support? Folau up over halfway. Couldn't link up with Clark on the outside. Pick and go now. It's Clark. And he's just going to charge up to the 22. Rob Horn in his swan song for the Waratahs.
Let him go now.
Hennigan to Foley. Folau, dummies. Got it to Foley. And he just manages to hold on. Went backwards in the end. That's the 22. Western Force have a man down in back play. It's Marcel Braki. Waratahs just trying to work their way through the middle. Wells, head down. And the penalty goes against Michael Wells, holding on. Terrific work by the Western Force as Marcel Braki leaves the field. And they take it quickly. And it is rolling into touch right down near the Waratahs 22.
Well, it's the pace of the game. Western Force, Dane Halapetty that time, seeing there was no one home, really picked the pace of the game up right throughout this match. And the level of intensity has been superb. That time, Michael Wells getting caught, getting isolated on his own, number 8.
Yeah, full on, put us in his warning. Let's go, Blue.
Timmy, you would have been really impressed by that turnover which was forced there. What we're seeing here, the quick decision making. There's the space, bang, Dave Halapetty carves off 80 metres. That big right boot, but prior to that, Bill Meeks came up with a huge turnover. And another forced mistake here from the Waratahs.
Well, they won the line out and then they cough it up.
They just look out of sorts in the last couple of matches, the Waratahs, and just confidence in the player next to them and that trust. To trust the person who's running next to you.
Okay.
3 reserves come onto the field.
Well, we say now farewell to Dean Bum. His Super Rugby career is over. What a career it's been. 33 years of age, 116th appearance, most capped New South Wales lock, 57 tests, 9 seasons. He was the 84th Wallaby captain.
Okay.
Congratulations on a great career, Dean Mumm.
No fairy tale finish there for Dean Mumm, but what a career that he has had, Clarkie, as you mentioned. One test as captain. Not a way you'd like to finish.
Jake Gordon is off as well, so Nick Phipps is out there. He'll bring plenty of enthusiasm, plenty of energy, but the combinations just aren't there. Confidence is lacking. And the Western Force, they are on a mission.
Fine. Set.
They've won just twice against the Waratahs at home. They won 3 times away.
Steady, boys. On this side. Same mark. There you go, guys. Go along with your bind, keep your shoulders up.
It's Bernard Foley doing his utmost to try and rally the troops.
Crouch! Bind!
Matt Hodgson
Set!
told us before the game that there's no tomorrow, so he's going to leave everything out on the pitch. Osirani. Penalty.
Michael Hooper penalised for coming off the scrum early.
He's come off.
We are being very hard to be done by. You know he was off. It's all one way at the moment.
Michael Hooper saying we've been very hard done by, you know. One of the Western Force players was off the scrum as well.
Yeah, it's momentum though. When you're on a roll in a team, the momentum and penalties seem to go with you. 10 penalties conceded by the Waratahs to the Western Force 5. Momentum is a killer against you. They're just taking their time now. Long range shot from out wide.
Well, if it stays this way, the Western Force are going to finish second in the Australian Conference.
Well, 5 wins, this will be their 6th win, Clarkie, wouldn't it?
Which will match the Brumbies, but the Brumbies getting through to the top spot in the Australian Conference because of their bonus points. Brumbies will play the Hurricanes next Friday night in Canberra. Start of the top 8 playoffs, and Lance from out wide. The crowd were cheering before it hit the post, and now a loose ball, and the Waratahs can't clean it up, and the Western Force fly in there. And it is a penalty, and he might go to the pocket here. Was it cynical? No, just a penalty.
When it's going your way and you got momentum, the ball hitting the upright, straight back, I think it was to Alex Newsom. Look at Billy Meeks smiling there, he can't believe it. Now, John O'Lance will get a much easier kick, right in front of the post.
They'll take the points, and they'll keep the scoreboard pressure on.
Watch this, watch Alex Newsom follow the kick up. Hits the post, comes straight down.
Yeah.
Just falls in his lap after Billy Meeks putting a hit on.
Dave McDouling.
Yep.
So John O'Lance inflicting more pain on the Waratahs. It is 34 points to 6. 59 minutes gone at NIB Stadium. I think a lot of people saw this coming, but maybe not by this scoreline, this margin. They're expecting a lot of passion out of the Force, and that's the way it's been. Look at that, 6 penalties in a row conceded by the Waratahs. They've been their own worst enemy.
Discipline's really hurt them. Yellow card early on in the match to Jake Gordon. They've been out enthused in wet weather conditions by the Force.
And lost forward by the Waratahs, so still nothing going the way of the visitors. And they certainly are earning the bragging rights, aren't they? The Western Force.
Some more replacements coming on for the Waratahs now, some fresh legs. Hugh Roach will come on, replace Damien Fitzpatrick, and also Mac Mason looks like he's coming on as well for the Waratahs in midfield.
And that is the end of the New South Wales career for the time being, at least, for David Horwitz, the 22-year-old. A couple of seasons with the Waratahs. He's played 27 games, and he is heading to the Melbourne Rebels in 2018. So Mac Mason is on, just 21 years of age, and he looks like he's going to be staying at the Waratahs as well as they try and just get things happening again in the off-season. Looks like it's going to be their worst season since 2012. Western Force 5 metres inside Waratahs territory. Phillip. Wells went low. Out the back door to Jono Lance. And Haylett-Petty. This Ross Haylett-Petty taken by Hennigan. Jono Lance showing and then going. And stolen by Dave McDouling for the Waratahs around halfway. Phipps gets out to Tom Robertson. He goes over the halfway mark. And Israel Folau dummying and taking them on. Got away from Hodgson, but then the ball went to Horn. And he's taken about 30 metres out. Oh, and another one. Another one hits the deck.
Yeah, one each way, guys.
David Lolohea is on there in jersey 17. For most of the season, Paddy Ryan's been wearing that jersey, but he's on the injured list. And again, another good scrum by the Western Force. Well, it's a lesson in so many aspects of the game by the Western Force tonight.
Clarkie, this has been a wet weather exhibition from the Force. Like you talk about, like there's going to be a lot of emotion, a lot of passion because of Matt Hodgson's final game here for the Western Force. But it's been a nice mixture of that, plus a really clinical skill execution. Then measuring the tempo of the game. Like here, they've slowed it down. Other times they've sped it up. But they've played to their strengths and they've been really focused on how they wanted to execute their game plan tonight.
Yeah, they've managed it really well, haven't they? Just at the right time. Front row been superb. Cowan, Faulkner, Bellotta now.
5 tries to none. It may look pretty, but gee, it's been effective tonight. The mauling by the Western Force. Ruru, crossfield, picks up a runner. Offside play there.
Knock on. He's played it on the ground. Knock on.
That's the
played
only,
it in the ground in offside position.
That's the first mistake from Billy Meeks, midfield. I think he's been one of the buys of the season for Super Rugby in Australia. Billy Meeks coming from Gloucester in the UK Premiership. He's really hardened up the midfield for the Western Force this season.
Most run beaters and tackle busts in 2017 for the Western Force.
Okay.
Just the 1 try, but as you say, he's been there to do more than score tries. He's very good on defence.
Time off. Subs. Blue, you're on the line. Time back on.
Ross Haylett-Petty is coming from the field. And there is more possession for the Force, but they kick it down to Israel Folau. Phipps. Oh, and then knocked on. It's a comedy of errors by New South Wales in a season that can't end quick enough for them. Better scrum from the Waratahs this time, but the ball was out and Force were able to control it in the nick of time. Now it's to Tafu Pelota now. Angus Taovau goes in to wrap him up.
boys! Oh, fucking get out of the way! Second one, playing advantage for the knock-on.
Picked up by Andrew Callaway.
Release now, tackler!
Now playing on the right wing in place of Naya Ravora. Here and Make Mason inside ball to Foley, and he can't control it, so another mistake. And now Alex Newsom taken by Mason.
Hold. Advantage over.
Advantage is over. Out the back it goes to Meeks. It's sloppy, but it sits up, and it's been sitting up all night for the Western Force. And Naisarani has a man on the outside. Verity Am. Slowed there by Callaway, but it is the Western Force looking to come up with a killer punch inside Waratahs territory. Hodgson went straight into Taovau. And the penalty goes to the Western Force. It is right in front.
Come through, but you've come off your feet. Let it go, guys. Let it go.
Nick Berry, the referee, right on the spot, going off your feet.
They got through some phases there, the Western Force. Got wide. Naisarani stayed on his feet. Just good interchange of play in wet weather conditions. The depth of the pass, Billy Meeks threw the pass, went out wide. Dane Halapetty picked it up. Naisarani, he's been so good for the Western Force this year. What a buy he's been. Verity Arm going through. Just the confidence in the players around them tonight, George, the Western Force, and the trust they've got in each other has been superb.
Yeah, definitely, Timmy, and I think that's been building all through the year. They've been really comfortable evolving their game, and you see everyone from 1 to 15 on the field has a good understanding of where they need to be at the right moments, from turnover ball, from set piece, and they just want to keep adding every time they come down to this part of the field with more points.
Colo lads right in front. Flags go up. 37 points to 6.
Well, they've already got their bonus points, so taking the kick for goal with 10 minutes to go. Ross Halapetty on the sideline being replaced.
You got 4 off? 1.
Former Waratah himself, John O'Lancer. You've got to remember also that Matt Hodgson was also a former Waratah, but uncapped. And there's the rest of the squad for the Western Force.
A lot of players on the bench there. Ben McKelman, one of them. Shemblek Davuri on.
And now another loose carry by the Waratahs. Carmichael on for Phillip as well. So Dave McDerling. Another mistake.
There's been some energy in that Force team. Look at Adam Coleman. Knows how important it is. The handling errors, 9 apiece, but the crucial ones for the Waratahs is when they've been on attack. Adam Coleman played for the Waratahs. How sweet this will be for him. Tafu Plotter now as well.
Same mark. Boys. Let's go, boys.
Yes, they're enjoying it, aren't they? The Western Force. Adam Coleman. Super Rugby debut for the Waratahs. 1 cap before heading to the Force in 2013. He's become a premier lock in Australian rugby.
Down on that far side.
It'll really make Michael Checker and the Wallaby selectors sit up though too. Not just this win, but also the season for the Western Force as well. You've got to pick players in form.
Bring your feet up. Let's go.
Test match against the All Blacks, middle of August. Adam Coleman, certainty. Dane Halapetty as well.
Hodgson. He is leaving it all out there, isn't he? Look at that. Most tackles. Yeah, followed by Adam Coleman. Bill Meeks. Bellotta now. Not a Waratah in sight.
Set!
Still time for the Force to inflict more pain on the Waratahs. Finding some space up the middle. Meeks. Good carry again. Ruru at scrum half. Wide ball out to Curtis Rona. And now to Tafu Pelota now. Curtis Rona keeps it on the toe. And Folau is there and does well to stay in the field of play. And the penalty goes against the Western Force. A high tackle there. And they take it quickly. Wide they go now. Inside ball to Callaway. Where's the support? Mason is there. Fresh legs. Phipps. Phipps kicks. He was playing advantage.
Another high tackle.
So they'll take it quickly. Another man in the way there.
Go. Touch.
And Foley finds touch. Well, can they break their try drought tonight, the Waratahs? 7 minutes remaining.
How frustrated does Bernard Foley look? He's tried his heart out tonight. Just hasn't had much support around him. He's been forced to go back infield from the defence from the Western Force tonight. Michael Hooper at the inside. Tarafu Pelota now. What a match from him as he leads the field.
And now it is the Waratahs with probably their best opportunity of scoring in this match so far. Here's a big moment for the youngster, number 20, Ryan McCauley, 20 years of age. Mason, advantage being played here for the Waratahs. They get it wide and Halapeti is there, but he was playing advantage.
Previous phase, 15 and 11 blue offside.
Dane Halapeti rushing up quickly on the right-hand side.
First time in 3 seasons that he hasn't run 1,000 metres, Dane Halapeti, but he's been
injured a lot, hasn't he, in the start of the season?
He's been doing more than his fair share of the work.
Wait till they're down.
So the Waratahs, and it's happened at long last. And it is Roach that dives over. So it's taken nearly 74.5 minutes for their first try. And it's his first Super Rugby try, so congratulations to Hugh Roach.
Yeah, well-worked play at the front of the line out. Ned Hannigan gets lifted. Michael Hooper comes around short side. Hugh Roach had a little bit of work to do. Did well.
It's been popular, hasn't it, Timmy, the front of the line out? We've seen a number of teams execute that around the front of the line out, come away with some tries. Teams like the Chiefs, we've also seen the Brumbies use it a few times, and then the Waratahs use that against the Force just then for some of...
And this one is out to the left from Foley, so 37 points to 11.
5 minutes left of the match. Western Force, as we mentioned, already has the bonus point. The next 5 minutes will be special for Matt Hodgson, the skipper. His last game ever on home soil. A massive win against the arch enemy, the Waratahs. There he is, the skipper. 140-odd Super Rugby games, 11 Test matches.
It's a good restart as well. They're still applying pressure.
Yeah, one each way. First one off blue. Thank you.
It's the first knock on by the Western Force.
Thanks, Will.
Ian Pryor at jersey 21 there, the replacement scrum half. Congratulations to him. It's his 50th game for the Western Force. 81st Super Rugby cap at 50 for the Force. So he's out there celebrating along with the rest of the 23-man squad today.
Bit of a journeyman, Queensland Reds and Brumbies.
The Waratahs are going to lose 4 in a row for the first time since 2012-2013. The points conceded is a record. That's a record this year's squad did not want, and even Israel Folau shows that he's human. He can make a mistake as well. Now the chip, read by Phipps.
No, leave it!
Roach goes into scrum half. Galloway, nothing happening there.
Outside wide. Outside 9. Passed in.
Jack Mason to Michael Hooper. No rugby for him in the coming week, so he'll be concentrating on getting himself right for the Rugby Championship with the Wallabies. Now Michael Wells up to the 22.
Release blue. Play advantage.
There's another mistake.
Let it go, 5, 4. We don't need it.
A lot of frustration from the Waratahs.
Get him back, Billy. Get him back.
Dropped a lot of ball. There's the 2 number 7s, Hooper, Hodgson.
Time off. Boys, let it go. Let it go.
This is really good experience for the younger players in the Waratahs to feel what it likes.
I know. 2 minutes to go. Yeah.
Young players like Mason, McCauley, Cameron Clark,
Time back on.
Ned Hannigan, the next generation of this Waratahs team.
Yeah, I think, Timmy, what you're saying is important. You got to sometimes feel and experience those painful times, and this has obviously been a painful year for the Waratahs, but you got to learn from this and grow from it. You've seen someone like an Adam Coleman, his growth and development in the last couple of years, particularly in the last 12 months, and now he's an international calibre player who really leads his team through example.
And he's got workers around him too. Matt Phillip, Tetra Faulkner's been superb.
As long as
There's
we
Adam
I need
Coleman.
that gap, yeah?
For the Waratahs fans suffering through this season, is it an easy fix?
Well, I'll tell you what, you've got to prune back that tree, because there's some players out there tonight on paper. You look at the experienced players, Bernard Foley, Michael Hooper, Dean Mumm, Sakopi Kepu, Israel Folau. There's plenty of test match experience there, but they've been out-enthused and outplayed in the wet weather conditions tonight by the Force.
And they've got time for another one.
Will Matt Hodgson step up and take one in front of the post?
Wouldn't that be a fairy tale finish?
Let it go, let it go. Matt.
He's standing at the back of this track out without
Back right.
even contemplating going in there. He's all smiles.
John O'Lance looked at him straight away and said, what do you think? Should you take the 3 points in front? Is he going to step up?
Oh, yeah. They're on their feet at NIB Stadium. He has scored 20 tries, but he hasn't kicked a penalty.
I don't know whether you'll go around the corner or might go straight on.
And here is Max, his dad. He hasn't been in the best of health, but he made the trip across from the Central Coast in New South Wales. Hunter and Buddy's boys are here tonight. His wife Jodie, his mum Anne-Marie, many of his teammates from Avoca.
Matt Hodgson, he was looking at John O'Lance, say, how do I put the ball down on the tee?
That's what the hustlers do, isn't it, Timmy? That old chestnut, like you in golf. Here he goes.
A fairy tale ending for Matt Hodgson. Unbelievable scenes at NIB Stadium. They wanted to send him out a winner. He had the final say. He scored his 20th try. And he kicks his side to a 40 points to 6 victory.
What a moment.
40 points to 11.
What a moment for the Western Force. 6 wins in the competition so far this year. And that man there, Matt Hodgson, leaves the game of rugby. Perfect conditions.
They go back to back for the first time this year. And Matt Hodgson is going to celebrate his final game, a foundation player, debut in 2006. He was there in day one. He was there in the final game in 2017. 140th cap, 54th as captain. That's now 47 wins for the Force. And that is a club record as well. 26 points to 6 at half-time. And the Western Force have hammered the Waratahs after that final penalty from Matt Hodgson. 40 points to 11.